The restaurant went silent the moment Song Min-hoo walked in. Amanda's hands froze mid-pour, hot coffee splashing over the rim of the cup and onto her wrist. She didn't feel it. Couldn't. Because across the dining room, cutting through the soft chatter and clinking silverware like a knife through silk, was the man she'd spent 6 years running from. He hadn't seen her yet. His mother held his arm, elegant in a jade-green hanbok, smiling at something he'd said. Min-hoo wore all black, tailored, expensive, sharp enough to kill. The dragon tattooed along his neck curved just above his collar, its tail disappearing beneath the fabric. She knew where it went. She'd traced it once, in another life, when she'd been stupid enough to think love could survive in the dark. Amanda turned. Fast. Too fast. The cup shattered on the floor. Every head in the restaurant swiveled toward her, including his. Their eyes met. And Min-hoo stopped breathing. She watched it happen, the way recognition hit him like a freight train, the way his entire body went rigid, the way his jaw locked so tight she thought she heard his teeth crack from across the room. His mother said something. He didn't respond. Didn't blink. Just stared at Amanda like she was a ghost he'd been hunting for years. Because she was. Then Elijah ran out from the kitchen. Mom. Sophia took He stopped when he saw the broken cup, the mess, his mother's face drained of all color. Mom? Min-hoo's gaze dropped to the boy. 6 years old. Dark curls. Warm brown skin. And eyes, God, those eyes, sharp and black and unmistakably his. Amanda saw the exact moment Min-hoo understood. His face didn't change. But something in the air did. Something violent and final, like the moment before thunder splits the sky. Sophia appeared next, smaller, bolder, already talking before she'd fully entered the room. Elijah, I didn't take your stupid car, I was just. She froze too when she saw Min-hoo. Not because she recognized him. Because even at 6 years old, Sophia the new danger when she saw it. Min-hoo looked at Amanda. Then at the children. Then back at Amanda. His voice, when it came, was so quiet the room had to strain to hear it. You. 6 years earlier. Amanda had come to Seoul for one summer. Just one. Her Korean wasn't perfect, but it was good enough to get her a translation gig with a mid-sized import company. Legal work, she'd been told. Contracts, shipping documents, client meetings. Nothing glamorous, but the pay was decent and she needed the money for grad school. She hadn't expected Song Min-hoo. He was the company's CEO, young, controlled, and unsettling in the way that powerful men often are. He didn't smile much. Didn't waste words. Gave orders like he expected the world to rearrange itself around him, and the world usually did. Amanda had been warned about him on her second day. He's not someone you want to piss off, her supervisor said quietly, sliding a stack of documents across her desk. Do the work. Don't ask questions. And for God's sake, don't stare. She didn't. But Min-hoo stared at her. At first, she thought it was because she was new. Or American. Or black, and maybe he wasn't used to that. But it wasn't curiosity in his gaze, it was something sharper, more deliberate. Like he was cataloging her. Learning her. It made her skin feel too tight. The first time he spoke to her directly, she'd been in his office translating a contract for a German client. You're good at this, he said, not looking up from his desk. Amanda blinked. Thank you. Better than the last 3. She didn't know how to respond to that, so she didn't. Min-hoo finally looked up. His eyes were black, unreadable, and fixed on her with an intensity that made her pulse spike. How long are you staying in Seoul? 3 months. Extend it. It wasn't a question. Amanda set down her pen. I have school in the fall. Defer. I can't just. I'll pay you double. She stared at him. You don't even know what my rate is. I don't care. The audacity of it should have offended her. Instead, it made her laugh, short, surprised, entirely inappropriate. Min-hoo's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. Something almost amused. You think I'm joking. I think you're used to getting what you want, Amanda said. I am. That's not a compliment. Wasn't trying to give you one. She should have quit right then. She didn't. By the end of the first month, Amanda knew 2 things for certain. 1, Song Min-hoo was not running a legal import business. 2, she was falling for him anyway. The realization came slowly, then all at once. It started with late nights in the office, Minhoo working across from her in silence, the only sound the scratch of her pen and the low hum of the city beyond the window. He'd order food without asking what she wanted, somehow always getting it right. He'd drive her home when it got too late, never saying much, just making sure she got there. Then one night, he kissed her. They'd been arguing about something stupid. She couldn't even remember what, and he'd grabbed her wrist, pulled her close, and kissed her like he'd been thinking about it for weeks. Maybe he had. Amanda kissed him back. That was the beginning. The weeks that followed were intense, reckless, and completely consuming. Minhoo didn't do anything halfway. When he wanted her, he made it known, possessive and deliberate, and so focused it was almost frightening. He took her to his penthouse, cooked for her, let her see the parts of himself he kept buried under all that control. Like the tattoos. The dragon started at his neck, coiled down his shoulder, across his chest, ribs, all the way to his hip. A tiger prowled up his forearm. Korean script wrapped around his wrists, his fingers, words she couldn't always read but knew meant something to him. What do they say? She asked one night, tracing the characters along his collarbone. Things I don't forget. Like what? He caught her hand, pressed it flat against his chest where his heart beat slow and steady. That loyalty is earned. That power is taken. That family is everything. Amanda didn't ask what happened to people who betrayed those principles. She was afraid she already knew. The proposal came 3 months in. Minhoo didn't ask. He told her. They were in his penthouse, the city sprawled out below them like a sea of light, and he pulled a ring from his pocket, simple, platinum, perfect, and said, "Marry me." Amanda laughed. Thought he was joking. He wasn't. "I'm serious. Minhoo, we've known each other for 3 months. I knew after 3 days. That's insane." Probably. He didn't move. Didn't flinch. Just held the ring and waited, like he had all the time in the world. Amanda's heart was pounding. "You don't even know me. I know you're stubborn. I know you don't take shit from anyone, including me. I know you hate mornings and love terrible American coffee and think kimchi jjigae is too spicy even though you eat it anyway." He paused. "I know you're the first person I've ever wanted to wake up to." She should have said no. She should have asked more questions. But she was 24 and in love and reckless, and so she said yes. Minhoo slid the ring onto her finger. Then his phone rang. He answered it on the second ring, still holding her hand, his voice dropping into that cold, clipped tone he used for business. Amanda only caught pieces of the conversation. It was in Korean, fast and low, but she heard enough. Target confirmed. Families at the summer house. Wife, 2 kids. Do it tonight. No witnesses. Minhoo's face didn't change. He gave the order like he was approving a lunch reservation. Make it clean. He hung up, looked at Amanda, smiled. Where were we? Amanda didn't sleep that night. She lay next to him in the dark, the ring heavy on her finger, and replayed the phone call over and over in her head. No witnesses. Make it clean. She told herself she'd misunderstood. That her Korean wasn't good enough. That Minhoo couldn't. But she knew. She'd known for weeks, if she was honest. The late-night meetings. The men in suits who looked at her like she was a liability. The way people moved out of Minhoo's way like he carried violence in his wake. She'd ignored it. Because she loved him. But love didn't make murder okay. Amanda left at 4 a.m. She didn't pack much, just her passport, some cash, the few things that mattered. She left the ring on the nightstand, the diamond catching the dim light from the city below. She almost left a note. Decided it would be worse. At the airport, she called the U.S. Embassy and begged for help. Told them she was American, that she was in danger, that she needed to leave now. They got her on a flight within hours. Amanda didn't look back. She found out she was pregnant 2 weeks later. Amanda ran. She took his children and disappeared into a life he'd never find. But 6 years later, fate dragged her back into his world, and this time, there's no running. Will Minhoo forgive the woman who stole his legacy, or will he destroy her for it? Comment if you think he deserves to know the truth, and subscribe because this story is about to get dangerous. Minhoo didn't move for 3 full seconds. 3 seconds where the entire restaurant held its breath. Where Amanda's heart slammed against her ribs so hard she thought it might crack. Where Elijah stepped closer to his mother, instinct telling him something was wrong. where Sophia, fearless as always, tilted her head and stared right back at the man who looked like he wanted to burn the world down. Then Minhu walked. Not toward Amanda. Toward the children. No. Amanda moved before she could think, stepping between them, her voice sharp and desperate. Don't. Minhu stopped. His mother touched his arm, confused. Minhu, what's? Wait outside, Yama. Mrs. Song blinked. What? Outside. Now. His tone left no room for argument. Mrs. Song looked between her son and Amanda, her gaze lingering on the children, something uncertain flickering across her face. Then she nodded slowly and left. The door closed behind her with a soft click that sounded like a gunshot. Minhu's attention returned to Amanda. How old are they? It wasn't a question. Amanda's throat closed. You need to leave. How old? Minhu. 6. His voice was so quiet now it barely qualified a sound. They're 6, aren't they? Amanda said nothing. Elijah tugged on her sleeve. Mom, who is he? Minhu's eyes dropped to the boy. Stayed there. Amanda watched him take in every detail, the curve of Elijah's jaw, the sharp intelligence in his eyes, the way he stood protectively in front of his sister even though he was scared. Mom? Sophia's voice was smaller now. Go to the kitchen, Amanda said, not taking her eyes off Minhu. Both of you. Right now. But. Now. They ran. The second they disappeared through the kitchen door, Minhu closed the distance between them. He didn't touch her. Didn't need to. The fury radiating off him was physical, suffocating, a living thing that wrapped around Amanda's chest and squeezed. You took my children. I left. You took my children. You were going to kill someone's family. The words ripped out of her, 6 years of fear and guilt and rage finally spilling over. I heard you, Minhu. I heard you give the order. Wife, 2 kids, make it clean. And you didn't ask. Amanda laughed, sharp and bitter. Ask? Ask the man who just ordered a hit if maybe I misunderstood. Yes. The simplicity of it stunned her into silence. Minhu leaned closer, his voice dropping to something lethal. You didn't ask because you didn't trust me. You decided I was a monster and you ran. With my children. Without giving me a chance to explain. There's no explanation for murder. The family you think I killed? Minhu's smile was a slash across his face, cold and humorless. They're alive. Running a restaurant in Busan under new names, under my protection, because the people who wanted them dead, the people I was setting up that night, are rotting in prison. Amanda's world tilted. You were setting them up? I was getting them on tape. Getting evidence. The family was already safe. He straightened, and the distance he put between them felt like miles. But you didn't wait to find out. You just left. I was pregnant. I know. The roar silenced the entire restaurant. Minhu's control shattered, just for a moment, and Amanda saw the truth of him, the rage, the grief, the 6 years of searching and not finding. I know you were pregnant, Amanda. I knew a week after you left. Do you have any idea what I did to find you? What I destroyed trying to get you back? She couldn't breathe. I tore apart half of Seoul looking for you. I had people searching every city you'd ever mentioned, every place you might go. I paid investigators, hackers, anyone who could give me a lead. And nothing. You disappeared like you'd never existed. His voice cracked. You took everything from me. I was scared. So you punished me for 6 years. You kept my children from me. You let them grow up without a father because you were too much of a coward to ask one question. The words hit like a fist. Amanda's eyes burned. Don't call me a coward. Then don't act like one. I did what I had to do to protect them. From what? Minhu spread his arms wide, the dragon on his neck seeming to writhe with the movement. From me? From their father? You think I would hurt my own children? I think you live in a world where children get killed for leverage. The truth of it hung between them, ugly and undeniable. Minhu's jaw worked. You're right. I do. Which is why you're going to pack their things and come with me. Tonight. Absolutely not. It's not a request. I don't care. Amanda. He stepped closer again, and this time there was something different in his eyes. Something that looked almost like fear. You've been back in Korea for 8 months. You think I didn't know? You think my enemies don't know? The only reason you're still breathing is because I've had people watching you since the day you stepped off that plane. Her blood went cold. You've been watching us? Protecting you. That's not. 3 attempts, Minhu said flatly. 3 times in the last 8 months someone tried to get to you. You never knew because they never got close. But they will. Eventually, they'll get lucky, or I'll be distracted, or you'll be somewhere my people can't reach. And then what? You think you can protect them on your own? Amanda felt sick. You're lying. I'm not. You're trying to scare me. I'm trying to keep you alive. He exhaled, and for the first time since walking into the restaurant, he looked tired. I know you hate me. I know you'll probably hate me forever. But those kids are kids. They don't deserve to die because you're too stubborn to accept help. Help? You want to help by trapping us. I want to help by keeping you safe. There's a difference. Is there? Minhu looked at her for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone, tapped something, and held it up. The screen showed security footage. A dark street. Amanda walking with the twins. Then a car, black, nondescript, pulling up fast. Men getting out. And then other men appearing from nowhere, intercepting, dragging the would-be attackers into the shadows. The timestamp read 6 weeks ago. Amanda's hands shook. I don't remember that. Because it was handled before you ever noticed. She looked up at him. Why didn't you tell me? Because I knew you'd run. So instead you just stalked us? Protected you, Minhu corrected. There's a difference. You keep saying that. Because you keep not listening. The kitchen door creaked open. Elijah poked his head out, his eyes finding his mother. Mom? Are you okay? Minhu turned, and his entire expression shifted. The cold, controlled mask slipped, replaced by something raw and unguarded. He looked at Elijah like he was something holy. Something impossible. I'm fine, baby, Amanda said, her voice shaking. Just give me a minute, okay? Elijah hesitated. Is he going to hurt you? No. Then why do you look scared? Minhu flinched. Amanda saw it, the way the question landed, the way it carved into him. She wanted to feel satisfaction. Wanted to feel vindicated. Instead, she just felt tired. I'm not scared, she lied. I promise. Go back inside with Sophia. Elijah didn't move for another few seconds. Then he disappeared into the kitchen again, leaving the door cracked just enough to watch. Minhu stared at the space where his son had been. He doesn't know, Amanda said quietly. Know what? That you're his father. Minhu closed his eyes. Amanda, I didn't know how to tell them. How do you explain to a 6-year-old that their father is, that you're a criminal? Dangerous. Same thing. No, it's not. Amanda stepped closer, and she hated how much she still felt when she looked at him. 6 years. 6 years, and he still made her chest ache. Criminals break laws. You break people. Only when I have to. That doesn't make it better. I'm not trying to make it better. Minhu opened his eyes, and the exhaustion in them was startling. I'm just trying to keep my family alive. The word family cracked something open inside her. They're not your family, Amanda said, but the words felt hollow. You don't know them. Then let me. Minhu. Please. It was the please that broke her. Song Minhu didn't beg, didn't ask, didn't show weakness. But he was showing it now, standing in the middle of a restaurant he'd never set foot in, staring at her like she held his entire world in her hands. Because she did. 1 month, Amanda heard herself say. Minhu's head snapped up. What? 1 month. You can see them. Get to know them. But we're not moving in with you. We're not. Amanda, the threats. 1 month, she repeated, firmer now. You want to be their father? Prove it. Prove you can be in their lives without dragging them into yours. That's not how this works. That's how it works, or you don't get anything. They stared at each other. Then Minhu nodded once, sharp and controlled. 1 month. And you tell your mother to stop looking at me like I murdered someone. She doesn't. Minhu. He sighed. I'll handle my mother. Good. But we're doing this my way. What does that mean? It means you're moving. Different apartment, different job, different everything. Somewhere I can actually protect you. That wasn't the deal. The deal is I get 1 month. I'm not wasting it planning your funeral. Amanda wanted to argue. Wanted to fight him on every point, every demand, every piece of control he was trying to take. But she looked at the phone still in his hand, at the security footage of men who wanted to hurt her children, and the fight drained out of her. Fine. Fine. But I picked the apartment. Absolutely not. Minhu. I'm not negotiating on your safety, Amanda. You want control? You can control everything else. But where you live, how you're protected, that's mine. She hated that he was right. Hated it even more that part of her was relieved. Okay, she said finally. Minhu's shoulders dropped half an inch. Okay, but you meet them properly. No guards, no intimidation, no showing up like you own the world. I do own half of it. Minhu. Fine. I'll be charming. You don't know how to be charming. I got you to say yes once, didn't I? The memory of that night, the ring, the proposal, the stupid, reckless hope she'd felt, hit her like a wave. Amanda looked away. That was a long time ago. Not that long. Felt like forever. Yeah, Minhu said quietly. It did. Minhu just found out he has 6-year-old twins, and the woman who kept them from him is about to move into his world whether she likes it or not. But when your enemies are watching and your past won't stay buried, can love survive the second time around? Comment Team Minho if you think he deserves a chance. The apartment Minhu chose was in Hanamdong. Of course it was. Amanda stood in the marble-floored entryway, watching the twins sprint through rooms that were bigger than their entire previous apartment, and felt her stomach knot. This is too much, she said. Minhu stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, hands in his pockets, watching the Han River glitter below. It's secure. It's a penthouse. Same thing. Minhu. 3 exits, bulletproof glass, panic room, 24-hour security on every floor. He turned to face her. This isn't about showing off. It's about keeping you alive. Sophia ran past, shrieking with delight as she discovered the second bathroom. Mom, there's a bathtub in here. Like a huge one. Elijah appeared in the doorway of what would be his room, more reserved but clearly impressed. Can I really have this whole room? Amanda's throat tightened. Yeah, baby. It's yours. He disappeared again, and she heard him opening closets, testing light switches, exploring every corner of a space that was his alone. They'd been sharing a bedroom in her old apartment. All 3 of them crammed into a place barely big enough for one. She told herself it was temporary. That she'd save up, find something better. 6 years of temporary. They deserve this, Minhu said quietly. Amanda turned on him. Don't what? Don't make me feel guilty for doing my best. I'm not. You are. Every time you show them something I couldn't give them, every time you throw money around like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. To you. Amanda's voice cracked. To you it doesn't matter because you've always had it. But I worked 3 jobs to keep them fed. I learned Korean and came back here because the exchange rate meant my dollars went further. I've been trying. I know. The simplicity of it stopped her. Minhu crossed the space between them, and for a moment Amanda thought he might touch her. He didn't. Just stood close enough that she could see the fine lines at the corners of his eyes, the shadow of exhaustion he carried like a second skin. I know you tried, he said. I know you gave them everything you had. But you didn't have to do it alone. I didn't have a choice. You did. You just didn't trust me enough to take it. The accusation stung because it was true. Amanda looked away. I'm here now. Yeah, you are. Minhu stepped back, giving her space. The kids start at a new school Monday. International school, full security, vetted staff. I've already enrolled them. You did what? Enrolled them. Without asking me? You want them safe, or you want me to ask permission for every decision? I want you to remember that I'm their mother. I'm not trying to replace you, Amanda. Then stop acting like it. Minhu's jaw tightened, but he nodded. Once. Sharp. Fine. Next time I'll ask. Thank you. You're welcome. They stood in tense silence, the sound of the twins exploring filling the space between them. Then Sophia screamed. Not in delight this time. In terror. Amanda ran. She found Sophia pressed against the window in her new bedroom, staring down at the street below, her small body shaking. Elijah was already there, holding his sister's hand, his face pale. What happened? Amanda dropped to her knees, pulling Sophia into her arms. Baby, what's wrong? Sophia pointed down. That man. He was staring at us. Amanda's blood turned to ice. She looked out the window, but the street was empty. Just cars and pedestrians and the normal flow of Seoul evening traffic. What man, sweetheart? He was standing across the street, just looking up at us. Sophia's voice shook. He looked mean. Minhu was already on his phone, speaking rapid Korean to someone on the other end. His tone was clipped, controlled, lethal. Elijah tugged on Amanda's sleeve. Mom, I saw him too. He had something in his hand. What kind of something? I don't know. It was small. Like a phone, maybe? Minhu ended the call. Security's reviewing the footage now. If someone was watching, we'll find them. This is what you wanted to protect us from, Amanda said, not looking at him. She couldn't. If she looked at him right now, she'd either scream or cry, and she refused to do either in front of the children. Yes. And you still think this is safe? Safer than where you were. Minhu crouched down so he was eye level with Sophia. His voice, when he spoke, was gentler than Amanda had ever heard it. Hey, you're okay. No one's going to hurt you. Sophia studied him with those sharp, fearless eyes. Promise? I promise. How do you know? Because I won't let them. But what if you're not here? Minhu hesitated. Then he reached up and unbuttoned the top of his collar, revealing more of the dragon tattoo that coiled up his neck. You see this? Sophia nodded, fascinated despite her fear. This is a dragon. In Korea, dragons protect treasure. They guard what matters. He glanced at Amanda, then back at Sophia. You and your brother? You're what matters. Which means I'm not going anywhere. Are you like a bodyguard? The corner of Minhu's mouth twitched. Something like that. Do you have a gun? Sophia, Amanda started. Yes, Minhu said. Elijah's eyes went wide. Really? Really. But I only use it to keep people safe. Like us. Like you. Sophia seemed to consider this. Then she leaned forward and poked the dragon tattoo. Does it hurt? Not anymore. Did it hurt when you got it? Yes. Then why'd you do it? To remember something important. What? Minhu's eyes found Amanda's. That some things are worth the pain. After the kids fell asleep in their own rooms, in beds that didn't creak, under blankets that didn't smell like the laundromat, Amanda found Minhu on the balcony. He was smoking. She hadn't known he smoked. That'll kill you, she said. Lots of things will. He didn't turn around. This one's just slower. Amanda leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed against the night chill. Did you find him? The man watching. Yes. And? He's being handled. What does that mean? It means he won't be watching anyone anymore. The casual way he said it, like he was discussing the weather, sent a shiver down her spine. Did you kill him? No. Minhu. I didn't kill him, Amanda. But he's not going to forget what happens when you threaten my family. He took another drag, exhaled slowly. He was a scout. Working for someone who wants leverage against me. Who? Doesn't matter. I'll deal with it. It matters to me. Why? So you can worry more than you already are. Minhu finally turned to face her, and the exhaustion in his eyes was stark. You want to know who's after us? Fine. The Kims. The Choi organization. 3 smaller crews who think I'm weak because I've been distracted. My own second-in-command is probably plotting something because he thinks I've gone soft. He crushed the cigarette under his heel. You want the list? Because I can keep going. Amanda felt sick. This is your life. This is my father's life. I'm just trying to survive it. Then walk away. You think it's that simple? I think you're choosing this. I'm choosing to keep you safe. There's a difference. You keep saying that. Because you keep not understanding it. Minhu closed the distance between them, and Amanda's back hit the doorframe. You think I want this? You think I want to spend every day wondering if today's the day someone gets to you? To them. His voice dropped. I've been trying to get out for 5 years. Legitimize the business, clean up the mess my father left. But every time I try, someone pulls me back in because the second I show weakness, the second I look away, that's when people die. So you're stuck. So I'm careful. Is there a difference? Minhu's laugh was sharp and humorless. You really want to throw my words back at me right now? Someone has to. They stared at each other, the night air cold and electric between them. Then Minhu's phone buzzed. He checked it, his expression darkening. I have to go. Now. Yes. Minhu, it's almost midnight. Which is when people who want me dead like to make their move. He pocketed the phone, his movements sharp and controlled. There are 4 guards stationed in the building. 2 in the lobby, 2 on this floor. If anything happens, you press the panic button by the front door, and they'll be here in 30 seconds. What's happening? Business. What kind of business requires you to leave at midnight? The kind I don't want you involved in. I'm already involved. Not like this. Minhoo grabbed his jacket from the chair. Stay inside. Keep the kids close. I'll be back by morning. And if you're not? He stopped at the door. Looked back at her. Then my mother will come get you. She knows what to do. The matter-of-fact way he said it, like his death was a logistical problem to be solved, made Amanda's chest tighten. Don't die. Minhoo's expression softened. Just barely. I'll try not to. Then he was gone. Amanda didn't sleep. She sat in the living room with all the lights on, her phone clutched in her hand, jumping at every sound. The guards Minhoo mentioned never made themselves known, but she felt them. Watching. Waiting. At 3 a.m., her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. He's fine. Stop worrying. Amanda stared at the screen. Typed back, who is this? Mrs. Song. Minhoo gave me your number in case you needed something. How did you know I was worried? Because you love him. You always have. Amanda's hands shook. I don't. You can lie to him. You can lie to yourself. But you can't lie to me. I watched you fall for him 6 years ago, and I see the way you look at him now. It's the same. Everything's different now. Not everything. He still loves you. And you're still terrified of what that means. Amanda didn't respond. Another text came through. The children are beautiful. They have his eyes. I know. He wept when he saw them. Did you know that? After you left the restaurant, he sat in the car and wept. I haven't seen my son cry since his father died. Amanda's vision blurred. I didn't mean to hurt him. But you did. And now you get to decide if you're going to keep hurting him or help him heal. It's not that simple. It never is. But you're here now. That's what matters. Amanda set the phone down and pressed her palms against her eyes. She didn't know what she was doing. Didn't know if she could trust Minhoo, if she could survive in his world, if she could give her children a father who lived one step away from violence at all times. But Mrs. Song was right about one thing. She was here now. And leaving again might just kill them all. Minhoo came back at dawn. Amanda was still on the couch, half asleep, when she heard the door open. She sat up fast, her heart pounding, and found him standing in the entryway. He was bleeding. Not badly, just a cut above his eyebrow and split knuckles, but enough to make her stomach drop. What happened? Disagreement. Minhoo. It's handled. He shrugged off his jacket, wincing slightly. Everyone's still breathing. That's a win. Amanda crossed to him, grabbed his hand, and examined the damage. His knuckles were raw, bruised, the tattoos that wrapped around his fingers stark against the swelling. You need ice. I need sleep. Ice first. She led him to the kitchen, made him sit, and pressed a bag of frozen vegetables against his hand. Minhoo watched her with an expression she couldn't read. You don't have to do this, he said quietly. Do what? Take care of me. Someone has to. I'm used to doing it myself. Yeah, well. Amanda adjusted the ice, her fingers gentle against his damaged skin. Get used to something else. Minhoo caught her wrist. Not hard. Just enough to stop her. Amanda. She looked up. Thank you. For staying. The sincerity in his voice undid something in her chest. I'm not staying for you, she lied. I know. I'm staying for them. I know. Good. But you're still here. Don't push it, Minhoo. His thumb brushed across the inside of her wrist, over her pulse. Wouldn't dream of it. But the way he looked at her said otherwise. And the way her heart responded said she was in serious trouble. Amanda thought she could keep her distance. Thought she could protect her heart while giving Minhoo a chance with the twins. But when danger strikes this close to home and old feelings start bleeding through, how long can she pretend she doesn't still feel everything? The twins met Minhoo properly 3 days later. Amanda made him come for breakfast. Neutral territory, she'd said. Even though it was his apartment, his money, his world. She needed the illusion of control, and Minhoo, surprisingly, gave it to her. He showed up at 8 in the morning wearing jeans and a simple black t-shirt, the tattoos on his arms fully visible. Amanda noticed Sophia's eyes go wide the moment she saw them. You're the dragon man, she said. Minhoo paused in the doorway. I am. Are you here to protect us again? If you'll let me. Elijah hung back, watching, his expression guarded in a way that reminded Amanda so painfully of Minhu that her chest ached. Mom said you're important, Elijah said carefully. Your mom's generous. Minhu glanced at Amanda. I'm just someone who wants to know you. Why? The question was direct, suspicious, and entirely fair. Minhu crouched down so he was eye level with Elijah. Because you're my son. The silence that followed was deafening. Sophia looked at Amanda. What does he mean? Amanda's throat closed. She'd planned this conversation 100 times in her head, rehearsed every word, but now that it was happening, every prepared speech evaporated. He means, she said slowly, that Minhu is your father. Elijah's face went blank. No, he's not. Our dad left before we were born. Your dad didn't leave, Minhu said quietly. Your mom did. She had reasons, good reasons, but I never wanted to be away from you. I just didn't know where you were. So you were looking for us? Every day for 6 years. Sophia processed this with the terrifying speed of a 6-year-old who'd just been handed a puzzle piece that changed the entire picture. So you're our dad? Yes. And you have a dragon tattoo because you protect treasure? Yes. And we're the treasure? Minhu's voice roughened. You're the treasure. Sophia seemed to accept this as perfectly logical. She walked up to him, tilted her head, and poked his arm. Can I see the rest of them? Sophia, Amanda started. It's fine. Minhu held out his arms, letting Sophia examine the ink that covered his skin. The tiger prowling up his forearm. The Korean script wrapping around his wrists. The geometric patterns that connected everything into a cohesive whole. What does this one say? Sophia traced the characters on his left wrist. It says loyalty. And this one? Family. What about that one? She pointed to a section of script that disappeared under his sleeve. Minhu hesitated. It's a name. Whose name? He glanced at Amanda. Your mother's. The air left the room. Amanda stared at him. What? I got it the day after you said yes. Minhu's expression was carefully neutral. Seemed permanent enough to match the feeling. You got my name tattooed on you? In Korean and English. Right over my heart, in case you were wondering. I wasn't. Amanda's voice broke. You can't just say things like that. Why not? It's true. Because she looked at the twins, both watching this exchange with fascinated interest. Because this isn't the time. When is the time? Not now. Minhu nodded slowly. Okay. But Sophia was already tugging on his sleeve. Can we see Mom's name? Maybe later. Why not now? Because your mother's going to kill me if I show you right now. Mom doesn't kill people. Lucky for me. Elijah, who'd been silent through all of this, finally spoke. If you're really our dad, prove it. Minhu looked at him. How? Tell me something only a dad would know. I don't know anything about you yet. You're right about that. Minhu sat back on his heels. But I want to. So ask me anything and I'll answer honestly. Deal? Elijah considered this. Anything? Anything. Are you a criminal? Amanda's heart stopped. Minhu didn't flinch. Yes. Minhu. Amanda stepped forward. He held up a hand. He asked. I'm answering. His attention returned to Elijah. My father ran an organization that operated outside the law. When he died, I inherited it. I've spent the last 5 years trying to make it legitimate, but some parts of it are still criminal. So yes, technically, I'm a criminal. Do you hurt people? Sometimes. Why? To protect people I care about. Like us. Like you. Elijah absorbed this with the seriousness of someone much older. Mom said you're dangerous. I am. But not to us? Never to you. How do I know you're telling the truth? Minhu pulled something from his pocket, a small velvet box, and held it out. Because I've been carrying this for 6 years. Elijah opened it. Inside was Amanda's engagement ring. The one she'd left on Minhu's nightstand the morning she fled. I kept it, Minhu said quietly, because I kept hoping I'd find you. That I'd get a chance to give it back. To ask again. He looked at Amanda. I'm still hoping. Amanda couldn't breathe. Sophia peered into the box. Is that a diamond? Yes. It's pretty. It was your mother's. Why doesn't she wear it anymore? Because things got complicated. Are they still complicated? Minhu's eyes never left Amanda's. Very. The twins accepted Minhu with the terrifying adaptability of children who'd been taught to survive change. Within a week, Sophia was climbing into his lap during movies. Elijah asked careful, probing questions about everything: Minhu's work, his childhood, his tattoos, his scars. Minhu answered every single one with a patience Amanda didn't know he possessed. He was good with them. Not perfect, he didn't know how to braid hair, burned breakfast more than once, and had no concept of appropriate bedtimes, but he tried. He showed up every morning, stayed until the kids fell asleep, learned their routines, their preferences, their fears. He learned that Elijah had nightmares about losing Amanda, that Sophia was terrified of the dark, that both of them still slept with lights on because their old apartment had been in a neighborhood where night meant danger. Minhu installed night lights in every room. He also installed a state-of-the-art security system that made Amanda feel like she was living in a fortress, but she didn't complain. Not after the man on the street. Not after Minhu's exhausted confession about all the people who wanted him dead. She was starting to understand the cost of his world. And the cost of loving him. Not that she loved him. She didn't. She couldn't. Except she watched him teach Elijah how to throw a punch, just in case, and you only use it to protect yourself or your sister, and her chest ached. She watched him let Sophia paint his nails bright pink because she wanted to practice, and something inside her melted. She watched him fall asleep on the couch with both twins curled against him, his tattooed arms wrapped protectively around them, and she knew. She'd never stopped loving him. She'd just gotten better at lying to herself. 3 weeks into their arrangement, Minhu's mother invited them to dinner. "She's been asking," Minhu said, leaning against the kitchen counter while Amanda made lunch. "I can't put her off anymore." "Does she hate me?" "No, Minhu. She doesn't hate you. She's complicated." "What does that mean?" "It means she thinks you broke her son's heart and stole her grandchildren, but she's willing to forgive you if you prove you're serious about staying." Amanda set down the knife. "That's a lot of conditions." "She's a lot of woman." Minhu pushed off the counter. "But she's fair. And she loves those kids already. She just needs to know you're not going to disappear again." "I'm not." "Then come to dinner." "What if she decides I'm not good enough?" "For what?" "For you. For them. For this life." Minhu crossed to her, and this time he did touch her, his hand cupping her face, thumb brushing her cheekbone. "You're the only one who's ever been good enough. She knows that. I know that. Eventually, you'll know it too." Amanda's breath caught. "You can't say things like that." "Why not?" "Because I'm trying not to fall for you again." "How's that working out?" "Terribly." Minhu smiled, a real smile, small and devastating. "Good." Then he kissed her. Not hard. Not demanding. Just soft and sure and impossibly gentle, like he had all the time in the world to remind her why she'd said yes the first time. Amanda's hands fisted in his shirt, and she kissed him back before she could stop herself. He tasted like coffee and something darker, something that reminded her of late nights and bad decisions, and the feeling of falling without knowing if there was ground below. When he pulled back, his forehead rested against hers. "Come to dinner," he murmured. "Okay. And Amanda?" "Yeah. Stop trying not to fall for me. I'm not going anywhere this time." Mrs. Song's house was traditional, a sprawling hammock on the outskirts of Seoul, all dark wood and curved roofs and carefully maintained gardens. Amanda felt underdressed the moment they arrived, despite Minhu's assurance that his mother didn't care about things like that. She cared about everything. Mrs. Song met them at the door, elegant in a deep blue hanbok, her eyes sharp and assessing as they swept over Amanda and the twins. Then she smiled. "Come in," she said in perfect English. "I've been waiting to meet you properly." Sophia, never one for shyness, bounded forward. "Are you our grandma?" "I am." "Do you have cookies?" Mrs. Song laughed, bright and genuine. "I have yagua." "Is that close enough?" "What's yagua?" "Come with me and find out." She led Sophia toward the kitchen, leaving Elijah hovering uncertainly by Amanda's side. Mrs. Song noticed and crouched down, her expression softening. "You're more careful than your sister." Elijah nodded. "That's good. Careful keeps you safe." She held out her hand. "But you're safe here." "I promise." Elijah looked at Minhu, who nodded. Then he took his grandmother's hand and let himself be led inside. Amanda stood frozen in the entryway. She's going to interrogate me, isn't she? Probably, Minhu said. Should I be worried? Only if you lie. What if the truth makes her hate me? Then she'll hate you. But at least she'll respect you for being honest. He took her hand. Come on. I'll protect you. From your own mother? Especially from my own mother. Dinner was both better and worse than Amanda expected. Better because Mrs. Song was warm with the twins, answering their endless questions with patience and humor, telling stories about Minhu's childhood that made him visibly uncomfortable and Amanda laugh despite her nerves. Worse because every time Amanda thought she'd relaxed, Mrs. Song would pivot, her attention zeroing in with laser focus. You came back to Korea 2 years ago, she said over dessert. Why? Amanda set down her tea. The exchange rate. My dollars went further here than in the States. And you didn't think Minhu would find you? I hoped he wouldn't. But you stayed in Seoul. I had to work. Seoul had the most job opportunities. Or maybe, Mrs. Song said softly, part of you wanted to be found. The accusation, gentle but unmistakable, landed like a stone in Amanda's chest. I didn't. You came back to his city, worked at a restaurant in his neighborhood, and stayed for 8 months. If you truly wanted to hide, you would have gone to Busan. Or Jeju. Somewhere he'd never think to look. Mrs. Song's gaze was piercing. But you didn't. Amanda's hands shook. I was trying to save money. To leave again. Were you? Yes. Then why didn't you? Because Amanda's voice cracked. Because I don't know. Because maybe you're right. Maybe part of me was tired of running. Mrs. Song nodded slowly. And the other part? The other part was terrified. Of Minhu. Of what loving him costs. The truth hung in the air between them. Mrs. Song reached across the table and took Amanda's hand. Loving a man like my son will cost you everything. Your peace. Your safety. Your certainty about who you are and what you're capable of. She squeezed gently. But he will love you back with the same ferocity. He will protect you with his life. And he will never, ever stop fighting for you. Amanda's eyes burned. How do you know? Because I loved a man like him once. And despite everything, the danger, the fear, the nights I didn't know if he'd come home, I never regretted it. Mrs. Song's expression softened. Don't punish my son for his father's choices. He's trying to be better. Let him. They left after the twins fell asleep on Mrs. Song's couch. Minhu carried Sophia to the car while Amanda guided a drowsy Elijah, his small hand warm in hers. The drive back was quiet, the city lights streaking past the window, the twins asleep in the back seat. Your mother likes me, Amanda said finally. I told you she would. She also thinks I came back to Seoul because I wanted you to find me. Did you? Amanda looked at him. I don't know. Maybe. Does that make me crazy? Makes you human. What if I can't do this? Do what? Live in your world. Survive the danger. Be what the twins need and what you need. Minhu's hand found hers in the dark. You've been doing it for 3 weeks. That's not the same as forever. Forever's just a lot of days in a row. He glanced at her. We'll figure it out. One day at a time. And if we don't? We will. How can you be so sure? Because I've already lost you once. I know what that feels like. And I'm not going through it again. When they got back to the apartment, Minhu carried both twins to their rooms while Amanda grabbed their things from the car. She found him in Sophia's room, adjusting her blanket, his movements careful and reverent. The nightlight cast soft shadows across his face, highlighting the sharp angles, the exhaustion he carried, the love he didn't know how to hide. Amanda leaned against the doorframe. You're good at this. At what? Being their father. I'm learning. You're doing more than that. Minhu straightened, turned to face her. So are you. I've had 6 years of practice. Doesn't make it less impressive. He crossed to her, and in the dim light of the hallway, he looked younger. Softer. I know this isn't what you wanted. That I'm not what you wanted. That's not true. Amanda. You were always what I wanted, Minhu. That was the problem. She met his gaze. I wanted you so much I couldn't think straight. Couldn't see the danger until it was too late. And then I was pregnant and terrified and I ran because I didn't know what else to do. And now I'm still terrified. But I'm tired of running. So stay. I am staying. No, I mean stay. Not because of the kids or because it's safe or because you don't have another option. Stay because you want to. Amanda's heart thundered. Minhu. I'm not asking you to marry me. Not yet. I'm just asking you to stop pretending this is temporary. Stop pretending we're just co-parenting. Stop pretending you don't feel what I know you feel. And what do I feel? He stepped closer, his hand sliding into her hair, tilting her face up to his. This. Then he kissed her like he was drowning and she was air. Amanda kissed him back like she'd been holding her breath for 6 years and finally remembered how to breathe. His hands were everywhere, her waist, her hips, pulling her closer until there was no space left between them. She tasted desperation on his lips, felt it in the way he held her like she might disappear if he let go. Stay with me tonight, he murmured against her mouth. Minhu. Just tonight. His voice broke. I need to know this is real. Amanda pulled back just enough to see his face. It's real. Then stay. She should have said no. Should have kept the distance, maintained the boundaries, protected what was left of her heart. Instead, she took his hand and led him to her room. The walls are coming down, and Amanda's finally letting herself feel everything she's been running from for 6 years. But in Minhu's world, happiness is always temporary, and danger is always one step behind. Will their second chance survive what's coming? Comment stay if you're here for the emotional roller coaster. Minhu kissed her like he was memorizing her. Slow, deliberate. His hands traced the curve of her spine, the slope of her shoulders, every place he'd once known by heart and had spent 6 years trying to forget. Amanda's fingers found the hem of his shirt, tugging it up, and he pulled back just long enough to let her strip it off him. The tattoos were worse than she remembered. Or better. She couldn't decide. The dragon coiled across his chest, its head resting over his heart. The tiger prowled down his ribs. Korean script wound around his abdomen, his hips, disappearing below his waistband. And there, just above his heart, exactly where he'd said her name. Amanda. In English and Korean, the characters inked into his skin like a brand. She pressed her palm against it. You weren't lying. I never lie to you. You didn't tell me you were tracking me for 8 months. That's different. How? I was protecting you. Not lying. Still feels like lying. Minhu caught her hand, held it against his chest where his heart beat strong and steady. You want the truth? Every truth, no matter how ugly. Amanda's throat tightened. Yes. I've killed people. Not many, but enough. I've ordered worse. I've looked men in the eye and made choices that cost them everything because it meant protecting what's mine. His gaze never wavered. And I'd do it again. For you. For them. Without hesitation. The confession should have terrified her. It didn't. I know, she whispered. And you're still here. I'm still here. Why? Because I love you. I never stopped. The words came easier than she expected, like she'd been holding them in so long they'd been pressing against her ribs, demanding release. I've loved you since the day you kissed me in your office. I loved you when I left. I loved you every day I was gone. And I love you now, even though it terrifies me. Minhu's control shattered. He kissed her hard, backing her toward the bed, his hands shaking as they found the zipper of her dress. Amanda tugged at his belt, his jeans, desperate to feel skin on skin, to erase 6 years of distance in a single night. They fell onto the bed in a tangle of limbs and barely restrained need. I missed you. Minhu breathed against her neck, his lips tracing the curve of her throat. Every goddamn day. I missed you too. Don't leave again. I won't. Promise me. I promise. He pulled back just enough to look at her, his eyes dark and intense. Say it again. I won't leave. Not good enough. His thumb brushed her lower lip. Say you love me. I love you. Again. I love you, Minhu. Again. I love you. Her voice broke. God, I love you so much it hurts. He kissed her then, softer, deeper, like he was sealing a vow. And when they came together, it felt like coming home. Amanda woke to sunlight and the warm weight of Minhu's arm across her waist. For a moment, she didn't move. Just lay there, listening to him breathe, feeling the steady rise and fall of his chest against her back. His hand was splayed across her stomach, possessive even in sleep, and she could feel the texture of his tattoos against her skin. She should get up. Check on the twins. Start breakfast. Instead, she turned in his arms. Minhu's eyes opened immediately, alert, watchful, the instincts of a man who'd survived too long in a dangerous world. Then he saw her and relaxed. "Hi," Amanda whispered. "Hi. Sleep okay?" "Better than I have in 6 years." She smiled. Flatterer. Truth teller. He brushed a strand of hair from her face. "You're beautiful. You're biased. Doesn't make it less true." Amanda traced the line of the dragon on his chest, following it from his collarbone to his heart. "Do they all mean something?" "Yes. Tell me." Minhu was quiet for a moment. Then he took her hand and guided it to the tiger on his ribs. "This one I got when I took over my father's organization. Tiger means power, courage. I needed the reminder that I could survive what he left me." His hand moved hers to the script on his wrist. "This one says loyalty. Got it after my father died, when half his men tried to take what was his. It's a reminder that loyalty is earned, not given." He guided her fingers to another section of text, this one wrapping around his forearm. "This one's a date. August 7th. What happened on August 7th? "The day I met you." Amanda's breath caught. "Minhu." "And this one," he moved her hand to his other wrist, "is the day you said yes. And this one, his ribs, just below the tiger, is the day you disappeared. The day I lost everything. Why would you tattoo that?" "So I'd never forget. So I'd never stop looking." He pressed her palm flat against his chest, over her name. "And this one I got because I needed you close, even when you weren't." Amanda's eyes burned. "That's the most romantic and devastating thing anyone's ever said to me. I'm a complicated man. I'm starting to notice." He kissed her forehead, her cheekbones, the corner of her mouth. "No more secrets. You want to know something, you ask? Deal? Deal. Good. Now ask me what you've been afraid to ask." Amanda hesitated. "What happened the night you left?" 3 weeks ago, when you came back bleeding." Minhu's expression darkened. "Someone made a move on one of my legitimate businesses. Tried to burn it down, send a message." "What kind of business?" "A community center in Itaewon. We run after-school programs, job training, legal aid for immigrants. It's clean, legal, and someone wanted it gone." "Why?" "Because it makes me look weak. Like I'm going soft." He exhaled slowly. "They're not wrong. I am going soft. But that doesn't mean I'm not still dangerous." "What did you do?" "Found out who gave the order. Had a conversation." "What kind of conversation?" "The kind where they understood burning down a building full of kids' art projects and job applications was a mistake they wouldn't make again." "Did you hurt them?" "Yes." "Badly?" "They'll recover. Eventually." Amanda should have been horrified. Should have pulled away, reassessed, questioned everything. Instead, she kissed him. Because the man who ordered violence against his enemies was the same man who'd installed nightlights for their daughter and taught their son how to defend himself. The same man who carried her name over his heart and had spent 6 years searching. Complicated didn't begin to cover it. The kids found them an hour later. Amanda and Minhu were in the kitchen, dressed, appropriate, making breakfast like responsible adults, when Sophia came running in, Elijah trailing behind. "You're still here." Sophia launched herself at Minhu, who caught her with easy grace. "Where else would I be? Mom said you usually leave before we wake up." Minhu glanced at Amanda. "Not anymore." Elijah noticed immediately. His eyes moved between his parents, cataloging the subtle shifts, the way Minhu's hand rested on Amanda's lower back, the way she leaned into him without thinking, the way they moved around each other like a dance they'd choreographed long ago. "Did you stay over?" Elijah asked carefully. "Yes." "In Mom's room?" "Yes." "Are you together?" "Like, together. Amanda's face heated. "Elijah, it's a fair question." Minhu set Sophia down and crouched so he was eye level with both twins. "Yes, your mom and I are together. Is that okay with you?" Sophia beamed. "Does that mean you're staying forever?" "If she'll let me." "Mom?" Sophia turned pleading eyes on Amanda. "Can he stay forever?" Amanda looked at Minhu, at the hope and vulnerability in his eyes, at the children they'd made together. "Yeah, he can stay." Elijah nodded slowly, processing. "Okay, just okay." Minhu asked. "I need to think about it." "Fair. But..." Elijah hesitated. "I'm glad you're here." Minhu's expression softened. "Me too." Sophia grabbed his hand. "Come on. I want to show you my drawing from school. As she dragged him toward her room, Elijah lingered in the kitchen with Amanda. Are you happy, Mom? The question caught her off guard. What? With him. Are you happy? Amanda thought about it, really thought about it. About the fear and the danger and the impossible complications of loving Song Min-ho. About the way he looked at her like she was the only thing keeping him human. About the family they were building from the wreckage of their past. Yeah, baby. I'm happy. Elijah smiled, small but genuine. Good. You deserve to be happy. Then he followed his sister, leaving Amanda alone in the kitchen with tears streaming down her face. The attack came 3 days later. Amanda was at the market with the twins, Min-ho's security trailing at a discreet distance. It was supposed to be safe. Routine. A normal Saturday morning errand. She should have known better. They were in the produce section when Amanda felt it, that prickling awareness of being watched. She turned, scanning the crowd, and saw him. A man in a dark jacket. Staring directly at Sophia. Amanda's blood turned to ice. Elijah, she said quietly, her hand finding his shoulder. Take your sister and go to the security guard by the entrance. Right now. Mom. Now. Something in her tone made him move. He grabbed Sophia's hand and walked, didn't run, just walked purposefully toward the entrance while Amanda kept herself between them and the man in the jacket. The man moved. Amanda moved faster. She intercepted him in the cereal aisle, her heart slamming against her ribs. Can I help you? He smiled. Where are the kids going? Nowhere that concerns you. Everything about those kids concerns me. Who are you? Someone who thinks Song Min-ho needs to be reminded that actions have consequences. Amanda's phone was already in her hand, Min-ho's number dialing. You need to leave. Or what? You'll call for help. He stepped closer. By the time anyone gets here, I could. He didn't finish the sentence. Because Min-ho's security closed in 3 men appearing from nowhere, surrounding the threat, their movements efficient and controlled. One of them spoke into a radio. Target secured. Alert the boss. The man in the jacket realized his mistake too late. Wait. You should have waited, one of the guards said, almost sympathetic. Now you get to explain yourself to Song Min-ho. Good luck with that. They escorted him out, not gently, while Amanda stood frozen in the cereal aisle, her hands shaking so badly she nearly dropped her phone. It rang. Min-ho. Are you hurt? No greeting. Just pure, focused concern. No. The kids. They're fine. They're with the guard by the entrance. Stay there. I'm coming. Min-ho, I'm okay. Stay. There. He hung up. Amanda found Elijah and Sophia with the security guard, both wide-eyed and scared. She pulled them close, her heart still racing, and waited. Min-ho arrived in under 10 minutes. He walked into that market like he owned it, his entire focus zeroed in on Amanda and the twins. People moved out of his way instinctively, sensing the danger that rolled off him in waves. He didn't stop until he reached them. His hands framed Amanda's face, his eyes searching hers. You're okay. I'm okay. The kids. They're fine. We're all fine. Min-ho exhaled shakily, then dropped to his knees and pulled both twins into his arms. You did good, he said to Elijah. Protecting your sister like that. Mom told me to. And you listened. That's smart. He looked at Sophia. You okay, sweetheart? She nodded against his chest. Min-ho held them for another moment, then stood, his expression hardening as one of his men approached. We have him in the car. He's talking. Good. Min-ho's voice went cold, lethal. I want to know who sent him, who he works for, and every detail of whatever plan they had. And then I want to know where they are. Yes, sir. Min-ho turned back to Amanda. You're not coming back here. Any of you. Not until this is handled. Min-ho. This isn't negotiable. You can't lock us away every time someone. Watch me. He stepped closer, his voice dropping. You think I can survive losing you again? Losing them? Because I can't. I can barely breathe when you're out of my sight, and this, he gestured toward where the man had been. This proves I'm right to be paranoid. Amanda wanted to argue. Wanted to insist on independence, normalcy, some semblance of control. But she looked at her children's scared faces and knew Min-ho was right. Okay, she said quietly. What do you need us to do? Come home. Let me keep you safe. And trust me to handle this. And then what? We hide forever. No. Then I end this. Permanently. The promise in his voice was absolute. And terrifying. And somehow exactly what she needed to hear. Minhoo didn't come home that night. Or the next. Amanda sat in the apartment with the twins, watching the security feed on her phone, counting the guards stationed on every floor, and tried not to think about what he was doing. She failed. Mrs. Song visited on the second day, bringing food and calm authority. She didn't ask questions. Just sat with Amanda while the twins did homework, her presence steady and knowing. He's done this before, Mrs. Song said quietly. Gone dark to handle a threat. Does it always take this long? Sometimes longer. Amanda's stomach twisted. What if? He'll come back. He always does. Mrs. Song poured tea with practiced grace. My husband used to disappear like this. Days, sometimes weeks. I learned not to ask where he went or what he did. I just learned to trust he'd return. And if he didn't, then I'd mourn and move forward. But he always came back. She met Amanda's eyes. Minhoo will too. He has too much to lose now. He came back on the third night. Amanda was curled on the couch, half asleep, when she heard the door open. She was on her feet instantly, her heart in her throat. Minhoo stood in the entryway. He looked like hell. Exhausted. Bruised. A cut above his eyebrow that hadn't been there before. His knuckles were wrapped in bandages, and he moved like everything hurt. But he was alive. Amanda crossed to him, her hands hovering over his chest like she was afraid he might disappear. You're okay. I'm okay. You're bleeding. Not badly. Minhoo. He pulled her into his arms, burying his face in her hair, and just breathed. I'm sorry. I should have called. I didn't need a call. I needed you alive. I'm alive. Are they? She couldn't finish the question. Handled. His voice was flat, emotionless. They won't come after you again. Amanda pulled back to look at him. What did you do? What I had to. That's not an answer. It's the only one I'm giving you. She studied his face, the exhaustion, the blood, the cold detachment he wore like armor. Did you kill them? Some. The casual admission made her flinch. How many? Does it matter? Yes. Why? Because you want to know what kind of man you're with. Minhoo's smile was bitter. I'm the kind who burns the world down to keep his family safe. You already knew that. I know. Amanda's voice cracked. I just need to hear you say you're done. That it's over. It's over. Promise? The people who sent that man to the market are dead. The organization backing them is dismantled. Anyone who even thinks about touching you or the kids will spend the rest of their life regretting it. He cupped her face. It's over, Amanda. You're safe now. And you. What about me? Are you safe? Minhoo's expression softened. Safer than I've been in years. Because I have something to live for now. Amanda kissed him, desperate and relieved and still terrified, but trying not to be. He kissed her back like he'd been drowning and she was air. Come to bed, she whispered. You need rest. I need a shower first. He looked down at himself, at the blood and dirt. I'm not bringing this into your room. Then shower. I'll wait. Amanda. I'll wait. She waited. Sitting on the edge of the bed, listening to the water run, trying not to think about what had happened in the 3 days he was gone. Trying not to imagine the violence, the choices, the cost of keeping them safe. Minhoo emerged 20 minutes later, clean but still marked. Bruises blooming across his ribs. Cuts healing on his arms. The tattoos that covered his skin looking somehow darker, more pronounced against his battered body. Amanda stood. Let me help. I'm fine. You're not fine. Sit. He sat. She retrieved the first aid kit from the bathroom and started cleaning the cut above his eyebrow. Minhoo watched her face the entire time, his expression unreadable. You should leave, he said quietly. Amanda's hands stilled. What? You should take the kids and leave. Go back to the States. Somewhere I can't touch you. Minhoo. I'm serious. He gestured vaguely. This is my life. Violence and blood and 3 days of not knowing if I'll make it home. You deserve better than this. Stop. Amanda. I said stop. She set down the antiseptic, her hands shaking. You don't get to make this decision for me. I'm trying to protect you. From what? From you? From a life I already chose. Amanda grabbed his face, forcing him to look at her. I love you. I love you knowing exactly what you are and what you do. I'm not some naive girl who thinks she can fix you or change you. I know who you are, Minhu. And I'm staying anyway. You're insane. Probably. But I'm yours. And you're mine. So stop trying to push me away and accept that I'm not going anywhere. Minhu stared at her. I could get you killed. Or you could keep me alive. Which is what you've been doing for 8 months. Amanda, do you love me? You know I do. Then stop trying to make decisions for me. I'm an adult. I chose this. I chose you. And I'll keep choosing you every day for as long as you'll let me. Something in his expression. What if I can't keep you safe? Then we'll figure it out together. That's not. Together, Minhu. That's how this works now. He pulled her into his lap, his arms wrapping around her waist, his face pressed against her stomach. I don't deserve you. Too bad. You're stuck with me. And the kids. They're stuck with you too. Even knowing what I am? Especially knowing what you are. Amanda ran her fingers through his damp hair. You're their father. She hesitated. You're what? I don't know. Partner? Boyfriend? Those words feel too small for what this is. Minhu lifted his head, and the vulnerability in his eyes was startling. Husband. Amanda's breath caught. What? I want to be your husband. I've wanted it since the first time I asked. He stood, still holding her, and set her gently on the bed. Then he crossed his jacket, retrieved something from the pocket, and came back. The ring box. The same one from 6 years ago. Minhu opened it, and there was the ring she'd left behind. The diamond catching the dim light, the platinum band still perfect. I know I already asked once. I know I'm asking you to marry into a complicated, dangerous life. I know I have no right to ask you to risk everything for me. He took her hand. But I'm asking anyway. Marry me, Amanda. Make this official. Let me be your husband and their father and the man who spends the rest of his life making sure you never regret saying yes. Amanda's eyes burned. You're really asking me this right now? When you're beat to hell and exhausted and probably concussed. If I wait until I'm in better shape, I might lose my nerve. You've never lost your nerve in your life. I lose it every time I look at you. The confession undid her. Yes, Amanda whispered. Minhu's eyes widened. Yes, yes, I'll marry you. Yes, I'll be your wife. Yes to all of it. He slid the ring onto her finger with shaking hands, and this time it stayed. Then he kissed her soft and reverent and full of 6 years of grief and hope and love that had survived despite everything. I love you, he murmured against her lips. I love you too. Don't take it off this time. I won't. Promise. I promise. They told the twins the next morning. Sophia shrieked so loud the guards on the floor below probably heard her. She launched herself at both of them, demanding to know every detail, what Amanda's dress would look like, if she could be a flower girl, if there would be cake. Elijah was quieter. He studied the ring on Amanda's finger, then looked at Minhu. Does this mean you're staying forever now? That's the plan. And you'll keep us safe? With my life. And you won't leave again? Like you did the last 3 days. Minhu knelt down. I can't promise I'll never have to leave. My work, what I do, sometimes it takes me away. But I promise I'll always come back. And I promise I'll do everything I can to make those times shorter and fewer. Elijah considered this with the seriousness of someone much older. Okay, just okay. I'm trying to trust you. It's hard. I know. Minhu's voice roughened. But I'll earn it. Every day. For as long as it takes. Elijah nodded slowly. Then he stepped forward and hugged his father. Minhu's eyes closed, his arms coming around his son, and Amanda watched the last of his walls crumble. The wedding was small. Just family. Mrs. Song, a handful of Minhu's legitimate business associates, and a few of Amanda's friends who'd made the trip from the States. No Mafia. No organization. No shadows of the life Minhu was still working to leave behind. Just them. Amanda wore cream, not white, because this wasn't a first beginning. This was a second chance, earned through pain and distance, and the stubborn refusal to give up on each other. The twins stood beside them, Elijah in a tiny suit that made him look like a miniature version of his father, Sophia in a pale pink dress she'd picked herself. Mrs. Song cried through the entire ceremony. And when Minhoo said, "I do," his voice was steady and sure and full of every promise he'd been trying to make for 6 years. When Amanda said, "I do," she meant it with every fiber of her being. They kissed, and the small gathering applauded, and for one perfect moment, the danger and complications of their life didn't matter. They were just a family. Finally, completely, irrevocably. 6 months later, Amanda was in the kitchen of Fusion, her restaurant, reopened in a new location with Minhoo's financial backing, but her complete creative control, when she felt arms wrap around her waist. "Busy?" Minhoo murmured against her neck. "Always. You know that. Take a break. I have orders. They can wait 5 minutes." Amanda turned in his arms. "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong." "Then why are you here?" "You're supposed to be at the office." "Finished early." He kissed her forehead. "Wanted to see my wife." The word still made her heart skip. "Your wife is covered in flour and smells like garlic." "My wife is perfect." "You're biased." "Completely." His hand slid to her stomach, and his expression shifted, became something softer, more vulnerable. "How are you feeling?" Amanda's breath caught. "I'm fine. No nausea." "Not since this morning." "The doctor said." "I know what the doctor said." 12 weeks. "Everything's progressing normally. Stop worrying." "I can't help it." Amanda covered his hand with hers, pressing it more firmly against the barely there swell of her stomach. "We're okay. All of us." "I know." Minhoo exhaled slowly. "I missed this the first time." "I'm not missing anything now." "You're not. You're here for every appointment, every milestone, every moment of morning sickness." "Good. And you're driving me insane." "Also good." Amanda laughed despite herself. "You're impossible. You married me anyway. Worst decision of my life." "Liar." He kissed her, slow and thorough, uncaring that her staff was definitely watching through the kitchen window. When he pulled back, Amanda was breathless. "I have to finish this order." "Finish it later." "Minhoo, the twins are with my mother. The restaurant can survive without you for one afternoon. Come home with me." "Why?" "Because I want to spend time with my wife." "Is that a crime?" "It might be, given your track record." "Funny. I thought so." Minhoo's expression turned serious. "I'm happy, Amanda. Genuinely, completely happy. And I keep waiting for it to fall apart, but it doesn't. And I want to appreciate it while it lasts." Amanda's throat tightened. "It's going to last. You don't know that." "I do. Because we've survived worse than whatever comes next. We survived 6 years apart. We survived your world trying to kill us. We survived every reason we had to give up on each other." She cupped his face. "We're going to survive being happy too." Minhoo kissed her palm. "When did you get so wise?" "Around the time I fell for a Mafia boss with a hero complex and commitment issues." "I don't have commitment issues." "You proposed twice and made me wait 6 years for the second one to stick." "That was circumstance, not commitment issues." "Sure it was." He pulled her closer, his forehead resting against hers. "I love you." "I love you too. Even though I'm impossible?" "Especially because you're impossible." That night, after the twins were asleep and the guards had done their rounds and the city hummed with life below their window, Amanda lay in bed with Minhoo's hand on her stomach. "What do you want?" he asked quietly. "Boy or girl? Doesn't matter. As long as they're healthy." "That's a cop-out answer." Amanda smiled. "Fine. I want a girl. Another one. So Sophia has someone to terrorize the world with. God help us." "What about you?" "Boy. So Elijah has backup when Sophia and her sister inevitably take over." "You think they're going to take over?" "I know they are. They're half you." Minhoo's thumb traced circles on her skin. "Speaking of taking over, the board approved the expansion. 3 more community centers, all fully funded and operational by next year." Amanda propped herself up on her elbow. "Seriously?" "Seriously. We're going legit, Amanda. Slowly, but it's happening." "How slowly?" "Another 5 years, maybe. Until the organization is completely clean and I can hand it off to someone else." "And then what?" "Then I retire. Officially. And spend the rest of my life cooking terrible breakfasts for our kids and annoying you in your restaurant." "That sounds perfect." Yeah. Minhoo pulled her down, kissing her with a tenderness that still caught her off guard. I never thought I'd get this. A family. A life that didn't revolve around survival. You have it now. Because of you. Because of us. Us, he repeated, like he was tasting the word. I like that. Good. Because you're stuck with us. Me, the twins, this one. She pressed his hand more firmly against her stomach. And however many more we end up with. However many? I'm thinking 4 total. 4. Problem? I'm going to need a bigger security team. Amanda laughed, the sound bright and free and full of all the happiness they'd fought so hard to build. Outside, Seoul glittered. The city that had brought them together, torn them apart, and ultimately given them a second chance. Inside, Minhoo held his wife and unborn child and felt, for the first time in his life, at peace. Thank you, he whispered into the darkness. For what? For coming back. For staying. For loving me despite everything. Thank you for not giving up on finding me. Never. His arms tightened around her. Not in this life or the next. Amanda closed her eyes, content and safe and impossibly, perfectly happy. They'd started with a chance encounter at a restaurant. A denied reservation. A mother's birthday dinner. 6 years of separation and pain and desperate searching. But they'd ended up here together, whole, building a future from the ashes of their past. And if that wasn't worth every moment of suffering, Amanda didn't know what was. Epilogue, 2 years later. The restaurant was packed. Fusion had become the hottest spot in Seoul, not just because of the food, though Amanda's blend of Korean and Southern cuisine was unmatched, but because of the story. The chef who'd run from a mafia boss. The boss who'd spent 6 years searching. The love that survived despite impossible odds. People came for the romance as much as the kimchi fried chicken. Amanda didn't mind. Let them romanticize it. She knew the truth, that love wasn't a fairy tale. It was work and compromise and choosing each other every single day, even when it was hard. Especially when it was hard. Mom. Sophia's voice echoed from the kitchen. Hannah's crying again. Amanda wiped her hands and headed toward the sound of her youngest daughter's wails. At 18 months, Hannah had inherited her father's stubborn streak and her mother's volume. Minhoo was already there, holding Hannah against his chest, the dragon tattoo on his neck visible above his collar as he swayed gently. She's fine, he said. Just wanted attention. She always wants attention. Wonder where she gets that from. Minhoo's eyes cut to Sophia, who grinned unrepentantly. Elijah appeared in the doorway, now 8 and impossibly mature for his age. Dad, the security guy says there's someone here to see you. Minhoo's expression shifted, became watchful, controlled. Who? He didn't say. Just said it was important. Minhoo handed Hannah to Amanda, kissed her forehead, and followed Elijah out. Amanda watched him go, that old familiar fear rising in her chest. It was quieter now, muted by 2 years of stability and peace. But it never fully disappeared. 5 minutes later, Minhoo returned. Smiling. What? Amanda asked. That was the last one. The last what? The last piece. The last holding from my father's organization. He crossed to her, taking Hannah back and settling her on his hip. It's done, Amanda. We're completely clean. Completely legal. Completely. Free, Amanda finished. Free. She kissed him, relief and joy and overwhelming love flooding through her. They'd made it. Against every odd, every threat, every reason to give up, they'd made it. What happens now? She asked. Minhoo looked at their daughter, then at their twins playing in the corner, then back at Amanda. Now we live. Just live. Just live. No more looking over our shoulder. No more waiting for the other shoe to drop. Just life. I like the sound of that. Yeah. He kissed her again, and somewhere in the restaurant, customers applauded, thinking it was part of the show. It wasn't. It was just Song Minhoo and Amanda Park, former enemies, former runaways, forever partners, choosing each other one more time. The way they always would. For the rest of their lives. The end. From a denied reservation to forever, this is the story of how love survives when everything's against it. If you believed in second chances, drop a heart in the comments and tell us your favorite moment. Don't forget to subscribe for more emotional, intense, heart-pounding stories that prove love is worth fighting for. Thank you for being here until the very end. Now go rewatch it, because you know you want to live through this journey one more time. See you in the next story.